Hello YouTube and welcome back to Ali's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Well, I believe there will be 15 projects. I can't believe it. 15 projects altogether. Maybe 16. I saved one for last because I still have to work on it, but I have two more sitting here. So this is 13 and 14. 15 is a definite. It's just I've got to work on it a little bit more. So these are alternative videos and projects for the October 2022's Ho 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 Paper Pumpkin. So I'm going to show you what I got here in a second. So I will be at the Christmas market in Silverdale at the Silverdale United Methodist Church, November 11th and 12th from 10 to 4 p.m. I have a whole bunch of stuff there, and there's lots of other vendors. If you are in the area, come by and see me. Of course, I am in Western Washington. So next on my agenda to show you is this is next month's Paper Pumpkin from the North Pole. It coordinates with this Paper Pumpkin kit, Ho Ho Ho. There is an add-on available for purchase, and they are these little envelopes. I will show you the size with a ruler so you can get an idea. They are 4 by 6, and you get, let me see, does it tell me on here? Do I gotta grab my, I believe you get 12, and they're $4 a package. I know I have another package here. Let me see. Yes. Oh, and I have a whole nother stack of envelopes. So I know they're $4 and there's 12 in a package. And I'm going to be using this chipboard. I make some great stuff with chipboard. I love it. So I'm going to set those aside along with that. And okay, this is what you could have made with the kit if you followed the instructions, and you know me, I don't do that. Though I am going to an event on November 6th with Miss Gina Tudela. She has a YouTube channel, Stamping on a Whim. Oh, Creating on a Whim. I love her stuff. I loved creating with her. She is the one who got me into this, and I am so thankful. So that is the instructions, and of course this is my Christmas card exchange information. Excuse the handwriting, my printer is out of ink, and I won't be getting new ink for it until after the new year, because I might be getting a new printer. I might keep this one. This one was purchased specifically to print pictures. And if you don't use the ink, it's a Canon. It's a really nice, expensive printer. But for everyday stuff, the ink dries up too fast because I don't do a lot of printing. So anyways, my email address, aliceseraphin1969@gmail.com by November 25th, because the list of participants will be emailed back to everyone on November 28th. The only rule is it must be a handmade card. Any products are welcome. So, this card kind of just fell together. Sometimes they do that. They just do. So we are going to use Sweet Sorbet and the Snowflake. And yeah, we're stamping that Snowflake in Sweet Sorbet. We are using, let's see, this is the flap of one of the envelopes. It was like this. I already cut it in half. This was a strip. You saw me cut this off of, I have one right here next to me. I cut it off of this. I had two, but one got crunched, so that one's in the garbage. But this one is going to work. We are using that pale blue. I wouldn't call this Bermuda Bay. I don't know what color you want to call it. So it's not quite Pool Party. It might be Pool Party. And we're using this element and a little piece of Bermuda Bay, which we're going to cut down. And we're going to do kind of a weird thing. This, we are probably going to cut down. I'm thinking of using this on the inside of the card, okay? Just thinking about it. And the stamps, we're going to use Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the Santa and the Reindeer, and that Snowflake. So let's get started. And the first thing we need to do is trim down this Bermuda Bay. I didn't do it already because I'm going to show you how I figure these things out. If you're new. So this is 3 inches. If you are new to stamping, get yourself a ruler. I do prefer this metal one, and you can see I'm kind of wearing it out, but the clear one, I'll show you the difference. I just don't think you can see that, and I don't think you see it well on camera, but any ruler you have, I just like to see clearly, and this one works really well. I bought it at Walmart years ago and it's still hanging up. So it is 3 by 3 and it is a 16th. Oh, it's 7/16. Oh, I know. Okay, I'm getting pretty good though at these measurements. I still count them on occasion just to make sure. So I'm sticking it on whatever cutting tool you have. Sorry, I have where they biopsied me to see if I had another type of skin cancer going on. It just terribly. Okay, so we're going to scoot this over and you're going to see this is, I have to open this up. There it is at 3, and I am going to cut it at 3, and it's just this little sliver, and I just want that in right on the dot. And I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to cut it down to 3 3/4. And I'm going to show you why, because it makes it easier. Okay, I don't always do this, but for this card I am. So I know this is 3 inches this way. To get a nice little border around it, I wanted it 3 1/4. You can go up to 3 1/2 and have a 1/4 inch border. So this is right there. And literally it just shaved something off. So next I'm going to put this in. Oh, you guys can't see that. Okay, we're going to start over again. I'm going to adjust my camera. Let me stand up. I do apologize. Okay, now you can see this. So you'll see I took this here and I lined it up on the 3 and I gave it a slice, which, oh, thank goodness I didn't go cutting that. We sliced it at 3. I turned it. It was at that 7/16, and I turned it and I trimmed it down to 3 3/4. Okay. And I'm still getting little slivers. Now, since I know I can bring this down here, let's bring it down a little bit more. I want this, what I'm doing is giving me 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. It's already at 3 3/4. So I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to turn this one with it so you can see. So this mark is 3 3/4. We want to bring our layering element to 4. And that's going to give us, I'm just going to move that so I don't cut it. This I'm keeping, okay, till I'm all done. And even then I'll probably put it in the envelope. That is going to give us, you'll see it, a nice border all the way around. So next we are bringing in, this was my envelope flap. And what I did with this one, I am going to trim this one down. It needs a little hair off of this. So I had it at 1 inch and it needs to go over, we're going to go over like a 1/16 of an inch, I think. Nope, that'll be too much. So it is literally a sliver from the 1 inch mark. And I just cut the tiniest, if I can even pick it up. Look at that. That is how tiny of a sliver I cut off. Now, this element needs cutting. It was at 1 inch, so we're going to have to trim that down. And we're going to, because this was the envelope flap, we're going to make it straight edge. There, that way it butts up nicely against the stopping point on this cutter. So I am going to take it down, hopefully roughly the same. And it's okay if it's not the same. Oh, we almost cut it too small. That would not have been nice. Let's see, because I was going to do it 3/4. We are doing it in between. Just a hair. This one is not straight. Sorry, it's really hard to work with a measurement like that and get it on here. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to lay this on top to see that it's all covered. Let's see. Oh, That's great. Perfect. Now, before I go, I can sit down. That was a little stressful on my back, bending over like that. So we are going to glue this down. And I'm going to go ahead and use my large bottle of Tombow as my little IV bottles, as I call them. They need to be refilled, and I just haven't yet to take the time. So I'm going to put some glue right on these edges. I'm not going to do any at the bottom yet. And I am going to flip it over and adhere it together. And I know the edges aren't going to matter, these edges, because they're going to have to get cut. And we're going to hand cut those. So I think that is really it for the moment. So let's get on to some stamping. So we have this gorgeous pale blue, which I think is a pale pool party. I'm going to open up my scratch paper, and these are polymer stamp sets. Let me see. I want this closer to me, so I have to, pardon me, but I have to adjust the camera again so I can stamp easier and not tweak my back. I have a really, really bad back, and I have a stimulator in there, and I don't want to fart with it or mess it up. So we are going to stamp this gorgeous sweet sorbet in the snowflake on our card. And am I going to try to make a pattern? Yeah. Is it going to be a perfect pattern? No, it's just not. I am just going around the edges in full strength. Now I'm going to come in again here and here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here full strength and here, and I'm going to come right here and here, kind of like in between those. Now this one's going to be right there, full strength and full strength. Now I'm going to fill in by stamping off and do what they call a second generation of ink. So there is second generation, and I'm going to fill this in right there. Stamp, stamp, stamp. I feel like I'm okay, so here we are going to need a little bit, just a hair, just a hair, just a hair, and the same here, just a hair of it. Stamp, stamp, and that one is there. So that is our pattern. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp the inside while we're doing this. I'm going to go one here, second generation, and third. And down here, we're going to do the same thing, even though, see, this was my idea for the, oh, you know what, we'll put that in the middle so we can. We're going to repeat there, and my envelope, please, is up there. We are going to stamp our envelope, you know, tie it all in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Oh, and look right here, right where I got the ink from my thumb. We are stamping that, and you won't even know that I did that. So very juicy ink pad, and I'm going to have to clean my hands off before we go further. I always get it everywhere. I'm not stamping if it's not inking me up too, you know? That's just the way I roll, and I can't help it. No matter how hard I try, it doesn't work. So I'm cleaning off my stamp just in case something collides with it and we don't have a catastrophe going on. So I'm going to set my envelope up and away. I'm going to fold this over. And what are we going to do next? Should we do the inside? Yeah, let's do the inside. So I have this piece of the envelope. This was the front. This is the back of the envelope on the inside. I thought we would put that right there, and 'tis the season to be jolly. Here's that little strip. We could add a little bit. Oh, do I want to go bigger than that? Let me see what other little scraps I've got laying around. Let's pull the file. Let's pull the Bermuda Bay. Where are you? I have them like this, and I've got to dig. Oh, I do. We're going to do that. Okay, that little piece is going in the file. That's why I keep it. I keep those little pieces in these. I just got to get this right where it belongs. Go back in. All right, so we are going to cut this then. Oh, I like that big. You know what? We're going to glue it down and just cut it. We need to trim a little bit. This is where it was folded, and I don't like that on there. So we're going to trim that down. So let's see what the measurement. We'll make it an even. Oh, it is at 1.5. We're going to go at 1 7/8. That off, and then one of these edges. Nope, that's pretty straight. All right. So that, my friends, is going in the recycle bin. Next, we are going to get some glue here. And oh, it's going this way. I almost tried to do it the wrong way. So I'm going to add glue. I'm going to hold this on my paper. Get the glue started, hopefully. All right. I'm going to go to the edge like so. Flip it over. Butt it right up against that crease. Little different. There we go. And now I'm going to give this a little snip off. There you have it. Next, we're going to repeat with this strip of Bermuda Bay. This is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to lay it on top like so. Give it some love with some glue and marry it to its counterpart. And turn it around and snip. So you don't have to measure everything. Sometimes you can get away with doing things like that. Next, we're putting 'Tis the Season to be Jolly. Now see how Jolly needs a little trim? Okay, y'all, I can't cut straight, so I gotta bring, that's why I love my little guillotine here. Stampin' Up! Had a little one. That was one of their incentives to join, and I joined because I had to have it. But it fell one too many times off my desk, and it no longer cut straight. But I wish Stampin' Up! Would bring back a little guillotine like that, because I would buy it in a heartbeat. I would probably buy a couple of them. Knowing me, yes, I would. I would tell my family, I got to have more than one just in case. So there we have the inside of our card. Oh, I just realized all of this work and it's going all, we got to change it up. It's all going the wrong way. Believe it or not, it's going the wrong way. So now I've got to figure out, but it's probably meant to be. Things like happen like that to me. It's just meant to be. So I got glue, it looks like, on that. So we're going to put this here. And now this is going here. And yeah, this is kind of wonky because I need to use my bone folder. And we got that little bit of bulk right there, but that's okay. So we are going to stamp. We are going to be putting this here. It's all going to work out. It's meant to be. Just, you know, when things like that happen, hey, sometimes the card comes out better than what I originally planned. So we are not sponging or doing anything to this. We are simply going to stamp. And we are going to stamp the Santa and the reindeer in black Memento ink here. I'm going to turn it over, make sure I've got them good and juicy inked up. And we are going to go straight like this, not in an arc, but like this. So the reindeer could be coming in for a landing. There's lots of ways you could do this. I'm holding it down because I want that ink, that dark black ink, to soak into the paper. So I'm just giving it a second or two. Oh, yes, I don't have to go over it with the marker. Next, we're going to do Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I thought I wanted it here. Okay, since I messed up the not design, but since we might do this, that, and then Santa Claus. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. So I need something to stamp. Oh, we have something from the kit I didn't think I would use. It has this tiny little stitching in it. That is going to go beautifully with Santa Claus is going to go right there. And you guessed it. Hopefully you guessed it. It's going in Sweet Sorbet. We are being a little different in our color choice. So I'm going to turn this sideways because it is easier for me to stamp, hopefully, straight. If not, I got plenty others I haven't used yet. They were just going to go in a... Oh, yes, 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 yes. We can even take this Bermuda Bay here and back it on that. And let's see what we like. So our stamping is complete. We don't need that. Oh. This is from the other project. Oh, look, I got 2 pieces. Okay, so our card is going. Let's get this together here, like so. That's still very, very pretty. I could even back that. You know, I get going and I just want to keep going and going and going and trying this and trying that. And sometimes it gets me in trouble. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. I'm reaching for a piece of Sweet Sorbet here. Hopefully I've got a... Yes. Because I'm thinking that we might back the Bermuda Bay on that and just add another little... Ooh, definitely that, to me, that makes a big difference. Then this is going to go all the way across. And see, that would cover our beautiful snowflakes up, but we could do a super tiny little border maybe. Maybe I'll use that on the other card. I don't know now. I really wanted that element here, but that looks so much better. All of that work for this piece, and I don't know what to do with it now. Okay, that way, let me take a look. Or, okay, we're going to go with this, and we are going to trim this down. You know what? Do I have something else I could trim down that's really tiny? Back to, sorry, y'all, I know that some of you might be just, come on, just do the card. But my brain just won't let me. So what I'm thinking is we're just going to have a little tiny bit going through there so you can see it. Okay, that's what we're going to do. But now we are going to glue this down to that piece. And you get to see me cut the Sweet Sorbet. And we'll get this card done. So I showed you how I measure to do a layer. Let's do it one more time, if you guys can hang with me here. So, making sure this is on camera. We got this at 3 3/4. So we are gonna, yep, that will work. I'm just seeing which way. So we are gonna, 3 3/4 is what we are at on the Bermuda Bay. We're moving it over to 3 1/2. We're cutting. Now I'm gonna bring this one in. Bring my glass mat down so it sits straight. and we got this at 4. So we want this piece to be at 4 1/4. All right. Now this wee little piece here, I really want it down to 1/4 inch. And I know that on this cutter, believe it or not, if you line it up on the crosshairs of the screws, that is roughly 1/4 inch. And that's all that I want. And I'll show you. Look at that. I told you, I know the cutter. Just because. Okay, so we're going to need that in a minute. So I'm just going to toss it there for a second. And we're going to layer this up on that sweet sorbet. And you're going to see we have that nice 1/8 inch border going around. Next, we are going to add some glue here for our Santa Claus is coming to town. And I'm just going to eyeball it and see. Okay, actually, it does need just like a pinch off. Maybe not a pinch, a hair, and I'll be happier. Just kind of eyeballing it like that. So next we need this piece. And how I'm going to figure out, this is going to go all the way across, which means I can hand cut it. So we'll do that. We're going to glue this down now. We went good on the corners. Just a little scribble. Put it in the center. Oop, that is not center at all. Well, that's where it's going now. It's good in there. Next, we're going to lay this piece across. Do I want to put this up on dimensionals to keep it there? Otherwise, it will be kind of funky. So yes, the answer is yes, I do want to put it up on dimensionals. Thank you very much. And I'm going to use some of these dimensional strippings. So this will, let's see. I think we're going to pull one off. Get my glue scissors. Do a strip there. I'm going to stick it just like so. A strip there. And right here, I am eyeballing it roughly to that center line there. And this piece is just going to go across like there. And then I'm good and covered. So now this is coming across that white part of our element. Yep. Now we're going to turn it over, open it up a bit, and give it a snip, lining the edge of our scissors up against the card base. You can hear it snip, snip, snip. Same thing, lining those scissors up against the card base, and it's going to give it that cut that I wanted, that I could not do without it. Now we have Santa Claus is coming to town, and you get that hint of that little bit of the envelope, and this is getting glued down with adhesive, just liquid adhesive in the center. And I so love this. Okay, so now we need a little sparkle, right? Come on. And I know this is may not be a huge change from the design, but I sure am in love with it. So we are going to use these opal rounds that I found. Those might be really too big. We're going to go with some basic rhinestone jewels. Some little tiny ones for there on the sides of this, because it's a tiny little. Open it up. We're working on this line here. So we're going to put one tiny little jewel right there, and one more right there. And that, besides some Wink of Stella on Mr. Santa Claus and his reindeer, this card is finished. So we're going to Wink of Stella Santa and his reindeer. I wish they would come out with the refill for Wink of Stella. I open mine up and I add some 90 or better proof of rubbing alcohol to it, and it lasts. You can see all the sparkle, and I'm telling you, this Wink of Stella brush right here is over a year old. And it's still going. So that, my friends, is our card in Sweet Sorbet. There's our envelope, and I hope you liked it. And things change, you know, have to change the design, but this, I absolutely love it. Sometimes they just are meant to be. Well, I would hope that you will join me in my Christmas card exchange this year. I would love to see what you all love to create, what products you like to use. And I hope you give me a thumbs up and make a comment if you have time. I do reply to all of them. And I hope you come back and visit me in my Wonderland. Bye-bye now.